All right, Hanika, one of the
Aloha.
village folks.
Yes.
Aloha.
Aloha, everybody.
What are you most excited about in this process and this experience?
I'm excited for many different things. Thinking about the knowledge of living in community and what that really is like, in the sense of our world that we live in maybe doesn't facilitate that community exchange. There's a little sagey behind us.
Here, I'll turn.
This is all about
Hi,
community.
Sage. You want to give a little wave? Bye bye, Sage. And back to
And that
Hanika.
that is what it's part about, like the interactions that we really can create, and learning to not segregate, and inclusivity, like both within ourselves and with other people, and what that paradigm is like. So that's exciting for me. Also, the fact of learning how to live more zero waste and contributing back to the earth, and understanding what that feels like, and knowing that I'm not taking anymore, but really trying to learn how to give back, and what that is through eating, like my actual gifts from my being into the land, um, as well as understanding that connection to the plants and animals that we're living with. So I'm really excited about those things as well too.
And anything that you have fear around of moving into a village with a
Yeah,
group of people.
there's uh fear is one of those funny words. Definitely, like, things come up for sure. Feelings of, like, I feel like sometimes that vulnerability of being with other people, and like really being yourself, and that sometimes scares me, in the sense of a lot of different things, like being honest and being truthful both with yourself, and like being really present with others. Sometimes that facade that we want to wear in order to make other people comfortable or ourselves feel comfortable, but really instead choosing to be present and truthful. And for me, that's something that I'm excited to learn, but I also do have, like, it makes me nervous sometimes. Like, learning every day, I'm going to live in this with this group, and they're going to become like my family, and what that feels like. Another fear that, or feeling that I have, is like sensitivity to noise and other people's energies, and also learning to be okay with that. And especially with this group of people, I've already felt that level of trust, and feeling that the space we're creating is very sacred. So I'm very grateful so far of what's transpired with that. Sometimes being very pleasantly surprised that the universe has provided, like, these people that understand things that maybe I didn't expect them to understand. So, yeah.
And that vulnerability and that trust is an interesting part because, like, most of us have known each other for a while,
Yeah.
and some of us are fairly new to one another.
Yes.
But, like, it's different levels of, like, when we're friends in social settings, when we see each other out in the world and parties and, like, give hugs and hang out. But then, like, the thought of, like, living with one another, and, like, what sides, like, we start to show and
Yeah.
see of one another. It's like we can't all be like the facade that we put on, to the sometimes the social
Yeah.
world, and we really get to know one another at a deeper level.
Well, it's so true, because as well, like, when you're in your room, you can be in your room and be that person, and sometimes you need that restoration time. But we're going to be more intimate with one another in that. And like, when you go to these social events, you choose to be there. And not saying that we don't choose to be here on this land, but it is going to be more overlapping in that sense of the restoration time and the community time together, and what that shift is like. And I think that's important, though, in like creating tribe and understanding what that feels like and what that looks like. And that is like, does make me nervous, and it makes me excited. And I think that's the important part of growth, and something that I'm desiring to learn about, and to understand in this community and in myself as well, what that feels like. Whether I like it or I don't like it, you gotta experience it to truly find out, and learn. So.
And you're at a pretty exciting moment. You're about ready to take off to
Yeah.
Guatemala for a month.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go to Guatemala for yoga training, and it's actually on a permaculture farm as well, so it feels like a great integration. I've just moved out. I'll be going back home actually after this video and doing the last final touches to move out of my place in Ocean Beach, putting my things in storage essentially, going to Guatemala, and then after I come back I'll be living on this beautiful land, and it just does make me feel apprehensive in that sense of the societal pressures that you want to have and the securities and things you have, but also such an excitement that like all these shifts and transformations that are happening, and the gifts that I've been given, the opportunities that I've been given. Just very, very grateful for this year, for sure.
Yeah, this is a big day for you. You're like
Yeah.
moving out of your place, off to Guatemala.
Yeah, I'm excited as well because today actually wasn't meant to be on the land. I was meant to be physically in Guatemala, and my flight got canceled, and they wanted to rebook me so I would stay longer in Mexico City for almost, I think, 12 hours. And instead they put me on a direct flight tomorrow, which gave me the opportunity to be here on the land today and to experience the workshop. So yeah, thank you again, great creator, or or whatever spiritual deity that you believe in, for providing this for me, this experience.
And Hanika has been one of the courageous pioneers, and you went out and got your trailer on Craigslist, and
Yes.
you got your space when you come back.
Yes, well, with that, like the truthfulness of like, I do feel like I was meant to buy that space. Also, that space, I'm going to need to put lots of love in it, but I think it's representational of what we're creating here, and like the sense that like you're gonna get what you put into things, both intentionally and physically. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens when I come back, and the feelings when I come back as well too. After I think 21 days or 3 weeks, I'll be in Guatemala.
Cool. Then we'll be starting the village as soon as you
Yes.
get back.
Totally.
Awesome. We'll have a great journey, and we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha.